good day everybody and welcome to another video. As you can see, back on the source, so the dry period's now over. But now Edward's here, I suppose the intense focus, worrying about the birth and all that kind of stuff, we're over that now, so it's now I'm able to relax a bit more. And it's the Easter weekend. Today for me, as I'm filming, it's Good Friday. We were actually working today, so as I was leaving work, I could see all the pubs were packed out with people. Everybody's out in the sun enjoying a beer, so it's nice that it's Easter weekend and we're starting to relax. But as I've said, we've been working today. It's been a viewing day. We've actually got a sale on Monday, on Easter Monday, and most people have found this most unusual, and they've been asking, coming in and saying, have you actually got a sale on Monday? And of course we have. And for many years we've had auctions on bank holidays, but people asking this question over and over again starts to get you nervous. Are we going to have a good sale or not? And I really do hope so, because next week's sale we've got 750 lots and it is really a good sale. But sometimes, I mean, with all the will in the world, you can make the very best sale possible, you can do a really good job, but there's aspects that aren't in your control that can cause the sale not to be as good as it could have been. I mean, you don't know what's happening with the antique fairs, how much money's around at the time, things outside of your control. I suppose what is in our control is whether we have the sale on the bank holiday or not. But if you think about it, it all goes back to when you have your first auction of the year, because our sales are every 2 weeks, so eventually you're going to run into a bank holiday, and that's just how it works. But historically speaking, the bank holidays for us have been pretty good. And I think people, when it comes around to Monday, perhaps, they've been sitting around the house and having fun and having roast dinners, Easter egg hunts, all that kind of stuff. By the time Monday comes around, hopefully people are looking for a bit of something to do, and why not come to an auction. So anyway, next sale aside, we've still got 2 objects from the last auction to look at. So these are the things we're going to look at in this particular video. Now the first lot is these 4 Victorian stick pins. I've always been a great fan of stick pins. They go inside the tie and hold the tie firmly to the shirt. And I think the idea is so if you're at dinner, etc., the tie won't go in your soup. It keeps it nice and close to your body, stops it flapping around, also keeps the back of the tie attached to the front of the tie as well, keeps everything neat, and also it's an extra little bit of jewellery, a bit of bling there. And they make them in all kinds of styles. They make them out of gold and silver, semi-precious metal, gold-plated metal. They put diamonds in there, gemstones, semi-precious gemstones, enameling. You can see hundreds and hundreds of different types of decoration on these things, which makes them really, really interesting and a good thing to collect as well. So we've got 4 here, and there's 4 very different styles of decoration. One which I think is it looks like St. John's ambulance motif, and it's done with enamel work. There's another one there of equestrian form. It's got like a horse's hoof in the top, so anybody that's interested in horses, they can display that on their tie, show, look, I'm a horse person. Another one there which has got a scarab beetle in there. I mean, the Victorians were really interested, I suppose we are today, with all things Egyptian, so that's got a scarab beetle there in the top. And my personal favourite is set with an Essex crystal with a little sailing ship on the top. Now an Essex crystal, that's a piece of rock crystal that's carved on the back, and then somebody's had to go to the painstaking effort of painting it inside out. Now that's not as simple as just painting. You've got to first paint the details which you want to be on the top of the picture, and then work backwards, if you think about it. So that must be really, really difficult to do. You've got to think about what colours and what details you want to show first, and then work backwards. So quite a skill, the old inside out painting. But yeah, 4 different stick pins to choose from, and we've got a catalogue estimate there of £100 to £150. So with a low catalogue estimate, it's saying that each one of these stick pins has to make £25, and I think that is definitely a great bargain. So let's see how they did at the auction. £4.78 now, 4 Victorian gold stick pins, terminals of equestrian form. There's an enamelled cross, scarab beetle, and a maritime Essex crystal. Willie B, start me £100 for those. 100 to start. 100's bid in the room straight away, 110 we're looking for. Now that's quite unusual in itself. Somebody there has bid straight away bottom estimate in the room. Normally people in the room wait for things to come down a little bit, or if a commission bid starts or the internet starts, as they don't have a choice, but somebody there chose to jump straight in. So obviously they think it's going to go a little bit further, or it's nice for me as well. For auctioneers, it saves our voice if people don't wait for the bidding to come way down and then for us to go all the way back up again. Maiden bids in the room, bottom estimate of 100, 110, another room bid at 120, 130, 140. At 130 then, second room bidder at 130, 140 will you? At £130 and selling. So 130, right in the middle of the estimate. Pretty pleased with that. I think that's a good price, but somebody there has got themselves a nice 4 stick pins. And on the day I did think, should I go for these? Should I buy them? It might be a nice thing to start to collect, and it's something to wear with the suit. You know, you've got the cufflinks, you've got the stick pin. But then on the day I decided against it. Another thing to start and collect, another thing to absorb all your money. But no, I'm happy with that. 130. Somebody's got themselves a nice lot. But the next lot up is for a violin and bow. Violins do come in all the time, and they're very different qualities. Sometimes you get the student's violin, the Chinese violins with a very orangey lacquer that don't really make very much. But then you get some antique instruments and beautiful French, German and English violins of extreme quality, make hundreds and hundreds of pounds. But we've chose to put this one in the antiques and collectibles sale. It's in great condition. Inside it's quite difficult to see, but it's got a label inside which is J.A. Romney of Worcester. The violin's numbered 169 and it's dated to the year 2000, so not an old violin. And it says there Anno 2000. I don't know why violin makers always put that in Latin, Anno for year 2000. And it also comes with a bow, and the bow's also stamped. And if you're looking at violin bows out and about, or any kind of stringed instrument bows, it's always worth checking right down at the bottom there near the frog to see if the violin bow is stamped. As ridiculous as it sounds, some of these bows can be worth thousands, can be worth more than the violin instruments themselves. So it's a German bow and an English violin. Now with a catalogue estimate of 80 to 120 pounds, let's see how the violin and bow went on sale day. Lot 224 is the case violin and bow, label for J.A. Romney of Worcester. 2 telephone bidders waiting. As I've said before, it's always a really good feeling to have 2 telephone bidders waiting. I've also got the internet starting to push things up, so it gives you great confidence, and you can actually enjoy selling a lot like this. I mean, if you've got a 600 lot sale, or like on Monday, 750 lot sale, it really is a lot to get through, and it's fun when you first sit down because the sale's just started and there's a bit of an atmosphere there, a bit of electricity in the air. But once you get settled in and get a few hundred lots under your belt, you do start getting a bit of fatigue. You start getting tired because some of the lots are, you do sell a lot of ordinary things and a lot of ordinary price, and it does take its toll on your throat, and as I said, your brain just gets fried. But when you come to a lot like this with a bit of spark about it, a couple of phone bids, you get excited and it gives you a boost again. And the internet starts at £50, 55, let's see, any advance in the room? I've got 50 on the internet. No, 55. Another bidder on the net at 65, 70 still. The 2 phone bidders are waiting, 85, 90, 95, 100, 110, 120 with them. That was pretty quick, like a cattle auction. Bids £110 with the internet alone, 120 we're looking for. Off to the first telephone bidder then, 120 I've still got now, 130 Steve. Telephone 1 is in, 130, 140 against the internet. Nothing from the internet, 140 Jane to the second telephone. 140, 150. 160. 170. 180. 190. 200. 220. 240. At 220 then, with the original telephone bidder against the second at 220. All done and sure looking for 40. At £220 and with the first telephone. At 220 then, with a good old-fashioned telephone bidder fight, which is good. It's above estimate. Nice instrument though, with a really nice sound as well. So that's the 2 lots from this week's video, and great success, both one within estimate, one above estimate, so that's always a good feeling. So I'll be back again next week. I'm going to change the format yet again. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to show one item per week instead of 2 lots per week. I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. Having Edward around, obviously we're a little bit sleep deprived here at home, so I find it a bit tricky to get the videos done, but I really want to commit to the every Saturday, so I thought the way I can do that is just doing one item. I also thought if I do just one item, I can also give a bit back and try and put a bit more research into each individual item and make the whole episode just about that one thing. So try and focus a little bit more on that. So we'll see how it goes, and then if we like it, we can stick with it. If not, hopefully when we get a bit more sleep, a bit further down the line, we'll revert back to the 2 items per video. But anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful Easter weekend, whatever you're doing, see your family, etc. Hope the weather stays well for us all, and I'll see you in 7 days.